still have yet, but glad to be here. My name is Morgan Davis, and I actually went to this school about 20 years ago. So I went here kindergarten through 5th grade, and this is actually where I first found out that I really had a passion and a love for writing, and that would kind of continue on even after I left here, leading up to me coming to tell you about Strawberry Short Stories, which is alliteration, for sure, with 3 S's. And I'm just kind of here today to tell you about my process of how I make the books and what inspires them, and really just like a background of how I got into writing in general. So that hopefully you can take something from this and apply it to whatever you like, whether it be a sport or anything that you're interested in. Did you have a question? So I'll start off. So Strawberry Short Stories brings Florida's favorite fruit to life, basically. It's the life of a strawberry, their point of view, brought by a comic that I created. So I just wanted to put a spin on everyday life in the life of a strawberry. And Strawberry Short Stories, instead of a regular book that you would read from cover to cover, front to back, they're more like something you see in the newspaper, kind of like the funnies, where it's just a single clip and there's just kind of a joke in each one. So that hence the name Short Stories that I've chosen. So I'll kind of give you a little author introduction before I tell you about how I create the books. And I've already mentioned I am from Plant City and that I went to school here. My name is Morgan Davis. And whenever I went here as a kid, my favorite subject in school was writing. I always found that I was more excited about writing than I was math and about science. And it was never my teachers. It was very consistent. The common denominator was I loved writing. I love being creative, I love sharing, and writing was just a way for me to share and get reactions, and I really just loved how social it could be in some ways, and in other ways I would write for myself just to express myself in ways that sometimes I couldn't express socially. So writing was definitely a very powerful thing, even at an early age for me. So one thing I do when I'm writing that I think is really effective for captivating a reader that will come into play later on is I'll actually imagine I'm watching a movie. I imagine I'm going to Redbox and I'm pulling out a DVD, or I'm on YouTube, or I'm on Netflix, and I haven't seen it before, so I'm kind of a little bit more excited about it because I don't really know about it. But one thing is whenever I go to rent a movie, I also like things I'm familiar with. I may not have seen it. And so the reason why I picked strawberries is I know that people are familiar with strawberries, especially in Plant City. It's just kind of our, claim to fame. So I wanted to use that and then kind of run with it. So what I do is when I'm writing a book and I'm thinking of it as a movie that I'm seeing for the first time and I'm controlling, I try to think of what's captivating. If I was watching a movie, what would bore me and what wouldn't bore me? And what would bore a reader and wouldn't bore a reader into wanting more or wanting less. And I kind of try to think of that point of view instead of just my own take on it to kind of make it be something a little more captivating that people will want to read more so that when it's done and the curtains are closed on one book and I open the doors to the next one, they're ready to go and they're wanting more. Because I always want to leave people wanting more. So it's kind of a big thing. So I call it planting seeds. Planting seeds is like really planning out what you're going to do and then creating a career, because most of the things that I've done, including this, would not have been possible. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't do any of this. There would be no reason for me to be here. And basically, I have just created opportunities, and really my writing gave me the chance to do that. So I'll just start off. I got into writing here at elementary school level and went on and kind of got into writing more and more throughout middle school and high school. And then Facebook and MySpace came out. And this new platform where you could say what you felt and express yourself online, and people could see it. It blew my mind, and I wanted more reactions. So whenever I would post up writing, I was like, wow, this is great. And people were wanting more and wanted me to write. And so I ended up deciding to write a book. And in 2012, I was 21, I ended up releasing my first book called Prescribed Life, which is a science fiction novel. It's 120 pages long. It's a chapter book, science fiction, so it is make-believe. But most of my fiction stuff, I kind of inspire it by real stories, but then it's a fictional story. I try to make things realistic. I even put real people in my stories in real places, to where if you were to read the book and go to the street where the character was on, it would be as if you were there yourself. So I try to make it a little more three-dimensional. And then I just ended up, as soon as I released my first book in 2012, I immediately started a second and eventually a third book and completed a trilogy. And a trilogy is just a 3-part series of a book. So I ended up doing that, and I started selling all around the Florida, Tampa Bay area, that kind of stuff, doing different events, book signings, art shows, and ended up wanting to do more, wanting to expand and get more readers and be able to tell more people my story. So I started traveling around, and I started what was really just a 12-state trip turned into a 48-state trip. So I was gone for about 8 months. Every few days I was in a different city doing book signings and just explaining to people my story and what I was trying to do. So that was a great way to open a lot more doors, creating my career, and got so many opportunities and met so many people that I wouldn't even know had this book and the story not found me, and I didn't, harvest it and be able to let it kind of take me where I wanted to go. So that's pretty cool. And I know like your slogan here is second to none, and I have my own slogan that's very similar to that, and it's once you live a dream, reality is not enough. And in Prescribed Life, my character goes into a dream where she feels like in her dream is so much better than reality, that once you live a dream, reality is not quite the same. And it kind of applies second to none. When you have the best, you don't want second, you don't want third, you don't want silver or bronze, you want what's best for you. When you have the best, you don't want to settle for that. So I just encourage you in anything you're doing to kind of look at it that way. Would I rather put more in and get more out of it, or waste time and not get what I could really get out of it if I tried as hard as I could? So that's just a really big factor. And when I came home from touring around, I just decided to get into a different style of writing for my next book, which would be a comic. And I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know at first it would be about strawberries, but I kind of sat down and thought about what could work really well. And I came up with the idea to do strawberry short stories. I kind of began sketching out strawberries, and I started going on Google, going on Amazon, getting books to read up on facts about strawberries I didn't know. I didn't know that strawberries are a member of the rose family. I didn't know that strawberries are the first to bloom, first crop to bloom in spring. And I just was able to find out just different facts about strawberries and kind of incorporate it into my cartoons to not only make them funny, but educational as well. So whenever I was creating strawberry short stories, I had kind of a picture in my head, but I always like visuals of characters. Even for Prescribed Life, there's no pictures, but I have visuals of my characters that I've taken from other shows and movies. And I kind of do the same for Prescribed Life, or not for Prescribed Life, but for Strawberry Short Stories. I used a cartoon from the 80s. It's called California Raisins, and it's from the 80s, before my time, before your time, but it was a really popular comic series, and I kind of used it to design my strawberry characters so they would be kind of a familiar appeal that readers, some readers would kind of be able to relate to, and it ended up kind of really influencing how the look of my cartoons as far as the illustrations are concerned. And I was also really influenced by an author that attended a Meet the Author presentation here. His name is Brad Baggert. And I met him when I was in second grade, and he signed a copy of his book, Let Me Be the Boss. It's a children's book. He does children's books and films, so he's very active in creating, and I admire everything that he's done. And his book is Let Me Be the Boss. It's about a younger girl who's sick of listening to her parents, and she's sick of listening to her teachers, and she wants to be in charge, she wants to be the boss. So he's kind of written from a child's point of view, much like I write from Strawberry's point of view, a different look on the world that you might not have thought of. And I still have that copy of that book that I still reference to this day, and I'll read it and pull it out of the bookshelf and kind of just look over it and think about the time that's passed and what I've taken from it and what I can still get from it. So it's kind of crazy that stories will actually live on. Like this book, somebody will buy this book and maybe they'll give it to somebody and they'll give it to somebody. And it kind of just keeps living on. And it's kind of like when you move out of your house, somebody else might move into your house. Different stories can be told by the walls in that house, and different reactions can be told from reading these books. So it's pretty cool. So one big thing before I get into how I create these books is I do a lot of the work myself. I try to do as much as I can. I try to learn how to do as much as I can to accomplish more. But I get by with a little help from my friends, and that is an understatement. It's really a lot of help from my friends, but that quote is from a Beatles song, so that sounds cool. But basically, it's true. I get by with a lot of help from other people who kind of helped me make this a bigger reality. I made it a reality to make it a bigger reality. So what I mean by that is Focus Magazine and the Plant City Observer, they both have done articles on my books and interviewed me and asked me why I love writing, and kind of asked me to express why I love it, what I write about, and what it means to me, and what my fans and readers mean to me. And I'm able to get a wider audience and more readers because all these people reading these newspapers that come out, I may not know them, and I might meet them now because of them reading the article. So that's pretty cool to be able to write a book, and you think of some people reading it, but you don't think of so many people. So it's pretty cool. From there, when I made Strawberry Short Stories, it was a little different than Prescribed Life. I ended up doing kind of like a sponsor program where people sponsored me to create these, and I got Parksdale and Strawberry Hut and a bunch of different places in town, and I put a page in the back of the originals where it had an advertisement, kind of like a magazine, just in the very back of their business and coupons for people who would buy my book to not only get they started off as calendars, not just books, but a calendar and a coupon book and a book all in one. And it really helped. It really helped with production because people basically raised funds for me to use to create the book, and I was able to send them business. And it's kind of a cool community thing to be able to all work together, put my books in their stores like Parksdale and the Corner Store, and be able to establish a relationship. So I'm not just making books, I'm making a lot more relationships. And in life, whatever you do, the more relationships and the more, life is very much about connections. Who you know, it is very much about that. And you will find that out as you get older and you try things. So, and it's also about what you do when you perform. If you're on a team and you do good and everybody sees how great of a job you're doing, people are going to want to scout you for colleges and scout you for different sports teams and anything, even for essay contests. So it's very important that you kind of put yourself out there so you can know more people to help you. Because if you don't know anybody, nobody will. So another big thing is the Corner Store and the Crazy Cup, the coffee shop in town. They host book signings for me, and I'm able to go in there and do book signings. And once again, meet other people that I don't know and get my story out even more. And it's just nice having these people helping me. I'm very fortunate that they're helping me out and letting me help again. So now I'm going to kind of get on to how I basically make these books a reality. What grade is it? Basically, you probably are familiar with what the order of operations are. All the other grades didn't know because I think it's third or fourth they start teaching that. The order of operations, if you do know it, it's please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And basically, that basically tells you how to, from start to finish, how to solve a math equation. And I kind of do the same thing start to finish with my books, where I brainstorm, I get on Google, I read my books, and get the information to where I can kind of figure out how to write a joke, and I think about what would be funny. And then from there, I'm able to sketch out two-dimensionally on paper, on Post-it notes, on napkins at a restaurant. If I think of something in the spur of the moment, I'm able to sketch those down, kind of a rough draft, and then put those in a program like Photoshop and use a tablet and be able to draw over them and use effects to kind of bring them to the next level, make them more three-dimensional, and make them kind of pop out and be more marketable and be more professional in appearance. So it's very important. And once they're ready for print, as far as the aesthetics, as far as how they look, I usually will send them off to a proofreader, an editor, and the same thing with Prescribed Life, where they will read and make sure my grammar, my punctuation, my spelling is correct, and hand it back to me, and I'll make any necessary revisions, or they will, and that way I can kind of get it ready to where when people read it, it's not misspelled, it's all correct. And from there, it goes to Amazon. So I do everything pretty much through Amazon. I also have my own website. Amazon's really great because they offer a really good program to be able to produce the books and pretty affordable for me to be able to sell them. And they print them in different languages, Spanish, German, French, 15 plus, if not more now. And they do audiobooks, so if you're in a car and you want to listen to a book, they have that. Or listen to headphones and listen to a book. And they also make Kindles for me, so I do like an ebook version as well of all my books. So it's pretty cool that Amazon is able to offer all that. I'm able to put my books on Amazon Prime, so if somebody wants a book, they're able to just get on Amazon and within 2 days or less have one in their hands ready to go. I made some flyers that will be sent out today that you can take home, and if you wanted to order or check out any books online, it tells you all about where they're at on Amazon and all that. So you will have that as a point of reference. And then, like I said, I also have my own website that I put together, and that's prescribedlife.com, where I primarily sell Prescribed Life books, but I also sell the Strawberry Short Stories books as well. And it's kind of a combination of a blog. I put YouTube videos up there for writing tutorials, offering people help on how to get out of and avoid writer's block, which is when you're writing and you're kind of having an idea what you want to write about, but then you kind of get stuck. I have some tips on how to get through that and how to kind of, especially in writing a book that really work. And then also I have books for sale, and I have pictures where I post up that people send me of them holding my books. And that's a really great way on social media to share, because I can upload these pictures and tag these people and all their friends, and hundreds and thousands of people have hundreds and thousands more friends that I don't even know that are able to get a hold of my book and get in touch with me and learn more about it. So it's a really great thing to be able to use all these different tools. So this is another thing that I definitely get I have a lot of help from. So I'm just going to close off by, like I said, follow your dreams, second to none. Once you live a dream, reality was never enough. And just whatever you do, just put a plan together. Plan it out of how it can work best. And just try as hard as you can to make your dream reality, because you're never going to look back if you do something you didn't want to do and not wish that you had achieved what your dreams were. If you look back, and you've achieved what you wanted, then you're never going to wonder what could have been something you didn't want in the first place. So if you want to be an athlete, or you want to be a writer or a race car driver, you can put yourself in the position to race dirt bikes, or enter essay contests, or if you want to be a musician, you can take lessons, or you can look up how to play online. And everything is out there for you to grab and do what you want with. So you're able to kind of create your own world based on your decisions you make. So all of these instances in life that I've had, all these pictures, are all possible because of a choice and a chance that I took. I took a chance that wasn't easy. I could have went out and got a job just anywhere and done anything, but I took a chance in doing this, and I looked back and was able to kind of get more than what I wanted. If you start a business one day, it's the same thing. You might look back after 30, 40, 50 years of being in business, and you're probably going to look back and be proud of what you were able to accomplish for yourself. So that's kind of how I feel when I look back on everything I've done so far. And I use this to inspire myself in the future as well. But I just say, in a world where you can be anything where you grow up, in a world where you can be anything when you grow up, I highly recommend being yourself and doing what you think is best for yourself. Because you're the one who's going to live your life, so it's going to be a lot smoother if you pick something that you really enjoy and can progress at and get better at. Because you're not going to be as discouraged if you pick something that you really enjoy. I think that's why writing found me in the first place, was I felt a little discouraged learning some things, but with writing I think it was more like I could learn and then kind of put my own take on things, and it really helped me to really advance and get better at writing. But thank you. If anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
Could you read just maybe a page out of your book for us, please?
Yeah, I have a couple pages on, conveniently enough. So like a really old joke is what's black and white and red all over. And I kind of took that joke and kind of spun it around on these strawberries that are in jail. And so he's reading the newspaper and he got arrested, so he's in the newspaper and he's like, what's black and white and red all over? He's like, very clever. And his friend's saying, very clever, but they're black and white and red all over as well. In this boxing match, I have a strawberry shortcake versus a pound cake. And he's saying, pick on your own size pound cake. And pound cake is replying, prepare to be not whipped, but whooped. And they're basically up against each other. Yeah, it's basically a play on words. It's called a pun, also, if you've ever heard of a pun. And it's just a play on words. And basically, this is karaoke, singing the music. Instead of karaoke, it's karaoke. And they're singing I Love Rock and Roll. And instead of put another dime in the jukebox, baby, it's put another lime in the fruit box, baby. So just switching up the words, trying to make it a little more humorous. I got Plant It, and instead of Planet Fitness, which is a gym that they attend. And then also, broken sprinklers need to be fixed. Yes, sir. They have a person, I just write in English, and then they have a way of translating it over. Yeah, they have people that work for Amazon and they're publishing where they're able to go in and they're what's called bilingual, which like if you can speak Spanish or French or another language and English, it means you're bilingual. And like I can't speak fluent Spanish, but I can speak pretty well like esto es todo lo que necesito, or something like that. And being bilingual, these people are able to look at my stories and read, the strawberries are red, los fresas es roja, and be able to kind of translate it for me. So that's kind of how it works. Yeah, how's it going? I think it might have been my music teacher back in the day or something like that. Like me and Alex Berlin, anything like that. Many years ago. Yeah, I'll take it over, honestly. No, we left Alright, real quick. What was the question?
You have to say it loud, honey. Can you beat Miss Collinger in alliteration?
I don't know. We'd have to schedule a match and see how that would go. I do like me some alliteration, and I definitely have a little background in that. Did I have? Yes.
Sophia, talk really loud.
Yes.
How many books have you read?
Total is 6. I have 3 of these, and then I have 3 prescribed life novels. And then right now I'm working on a book where I'm turning Tampa, pretty much all of Tampa, into a comic book where I've actually gone around and photographed, and we're kind of turning it into a grid for a new comic book I'm working on. So that's going to be cool. It's going to be all over the Tampa. Yes.
What's your most popular book?
My most popular book? The most I've sold is definitely Prescribed Life, just because it's been out longer. It was my first book. And I sold a lot of copies of Prescribed Life 2 and 3, but I think just most people are going to, if you have a trilogy, they're going to obviously want the first book to start reading it. So I've definitely sold more of the first book. But I've also, of all the Strawberry short stories, I've sold quite a bit. It's kind of hard to say, but I would say Prescribed Life, the first one, is probably the most popular. Yeah.
What was the question?
How long have I been making books? So that's a good question. So I started writing Prescribed Life when I was about 18, 19 years old, and ended up publishing it at 21, so 3 years later. And I am now 29, so that would be 8 years ago. But what was crazy was it took me 3 years to write my first book. But once I learned how to write the book and how to create it and how to bring it all, to fruition, how to make it a reality, the other two books, I did Prescribed Life 2 in about 5 months. And then I did Prescribed Life 3 in about 5 months. And it was because I was able to spend more time writing. Because once my books came out, I was able to kind of not have to work a job and be able to make money off the books. So it gave me more time to write. That's kind of what I was saying. If you want to do something you love, you have to kind of figure out a way to make it work in your life, and that way you're not getting sidetracked by other things. But so I was able to kind of release the book, and it was just crazy how much faster I could write the next two books, with more time. Yeah.
So when you first started writing, that was kind of a difficult process for you to get through the first time, and then after that it became a little easier.
It was way more intimidating, because just imagine, it's kind of like playing a sport, and once you have, if you get, a trophy, or you don't even need a trophy, but if somebody says, good job, then that kind of will encourage you instead of, discourage you to do something. And it was just really intimidating. I felt like I was buried and drowning in all these words on my laptop until it was actually a real book. But once it was a real book, and I saw how much it could do for me, it was over. I didn't care. I wasn't overwhelmed anymore. I wanted to be swimming. I wasn't drowning. I was swimming in my writing. I was able to swim faster and get to where I was going a lot faster once I actually completed it. Yeah. What's that? Are my friends?
Do you mean like a similar job basis, or?
I have a bunch of friends I'm a musician as well, and I have tons of friends who are musicians that put music together, and we write songs together and things like that. And it's just very, writing is such a wide spectrum. It's there's a lot of possibilities with writing. Because I can write a song, I can write a poem, I can write a book, and I was telling a group earlier, there's hundreds of books about dinosaurs because people can say it in different ways. They can explain things in different ways. So you could read one book about dinosaurs that's really boring, and then you can read another book. And when I was a kid, I read 2 books about Abraham Lincoln, and I really enjoyed one, and then the second one I just didn't enjoy. So it just goes to show you that writing is so versatile and so different from one person to another point of view. Yeah. In the picture? Basically, since the sprinklers are broken, the Strawberry's mom has to basically give him a bath, and she wants the sprinklers to come back on so she doesn't have to do his work.
Why does one say broken instead of out of order?
Oh, because they're all out of order, they're broken. The spigots on. Well, my new book series is a little more involved, but there's going to be 30 of them. They're going to be comic books. And when I'm done, it's going to be kind of like Netflix, where every month I'll be releasing them, and people will have subscriptions most likely to them. I'm just going to make it really affordable for people to just sign up, and maybe like $1 or something a month, or something to get these books downloaded and be able to have it where they're able to read it. And then I'll have hard copies for sale as well. And that's all going to be, like I said, in Tampa. I'm turning the whole city into a comic book, and people that live in the city will be put in a comic book. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. The art comics? Yeah. Yeah, the art. That's what my science fiction books are, Prescribed Life. Those 3 are like chapter books. And those are also on Amazon as well, Prescribed Life.
Axel said his name.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Red shirt?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Did you ever make a book where the strawberries go back in time to 1847?
No, but that would be actually pretty interesting to do. I could see some strawberries with some powdered wigs. That'd be pretty cool. I'm going to try and go over here in this section. All right, go ahead.
Abigail.
How much characters are there in one book?
How many characters are there in one book?
I couldn't tell you. I'd have to sit there and count because every scene has different characters. In my Prescribed Life book, there's just a cast like you would have in a movie, and there's each specific character, and they all kind of talk to each other. In this, they're just in one instant. It's just one scene. So the only character that's really reoccurring is Strawberry Shortcake, I should say, and that you'll see Strawberry Shortcake's just in different clips that I have. It's kind of a joke. I'll go ahead and I'll come back to these. I just know you've been holding your hands up for a while.
You and Miss Collinger should have a writing contest.
We might be able to arrange that.
Yeah, she would probably.
Go ahead. When I was a kid? That would be hard to tell. I mean, when I came here, like one of my favorite, when I attended this school, the teachers would have you write a book every so often as a project. And I'm sure I've written books here. I've probably done maybe about 10 or so. And then even in middle school, I had a couple opportunities to write books, and I was really into skateboarding, and I wrote a bunch of books about like skateboarding and music and learning to play guitar and stuff like that. So I couldn't tell you a number, but quite a few. Yeah. I'll go with her. I've had all my friends and family encourage me. That's definitely, like I said, on Facebook in the early days, people were telling me. My parents are really supportive. My brothers are really supportive, and they're really good artists. And they really pushed for me to try something, to create and do something. And they told me basically, if you want to make this reality, you have to work harder than you would, just to take the easy route. If you want to take the harder route, though, you'd be surprised, what you can get out of it. What's that? So my most successful, like I was saying, is probably Prescribed Life 1, just because I've had it out longer, so I feel like I did book signings for Prescribed Life 1 when none of these other books existed. Go for it real quick. Yeah, that's correct. So like I said, I have a background in my family. There's a couple other artists. And my brother Jesse is really good. He did the covers for like Prescribed Life, and he really helped me in Photoshop, showing me how using the tablet on how to draw over the sketches and kind of bring it down. So I usually sketch these, and then he'll show me how to kind of add, and he'll help me add some things to kind of make it a little more three-dimensional. And he's been using Photoshop for like 20 years, and he's been teaching me. I have a lot to learn, but he's helped me get as far as I can. And he's been very helpful. All right, so we'll do it right there. I'll get back. I'll get you back. All the time. I used to watch Netflix, and I have certain characters in Prescribed Life. Prescribed Life is harder because there's no pictures. And I would kind of want to see how my characters would be, and I found different shows that I used to watch on Netflix, and I would find characters that would kind of sub in. So when I'm picturing in my head, I would use those actors to be able to kind of think of how the story would go. And it really helped seeing them in my mind to be able to get the words out. What's that? So the Tampa one, that's going to be different businesses in Tampa and different, it's about a guy who has a tattoo, and when it gets the ink in his arm, it basically rejects out of his skin and takes his DNA. It's kind of like Spider-Man, but it forms a filament that makes another, like a twin. And basically, that twin tries to take over his life. He goes to school, and tries to get him in trouble, and it's just like a whole thing where he's having to deal with it. But it's set in Tampa, and the tattoo artist that does his tattoos in Tampa is a real artist, and all the places, the skateboard that he carries, there's a skate park in Tampa, and I have them and different people on board where I'm turning all what is fiction or non-fiction based on fiction. Is what I'm doing. But yeah, so, but it won't really branch over to Plant City area. It will be in the Tampa area primarily. All right. Go for it. What's that? Not in a long time. Sometimes I'll sketch some stuff out. My brother Jesse has drawn a lot of portraits. He's really good at portraits. I'm more of like, I like animated. I like cartoons, but no, that would be funny to actually do. I might do that as like a Christmas gift one year or something to give it to my parents and have it be like an animated version of the family. That'd be cool. Alrighty, go ahead. What's
Will
that?
your books be in stores?
Yeah, so they have them, they're in like Barnes & Noble and Books A Million. They usually carry some copies. And other than that,
You can get them on Amazon too, right?
yeah.
Saying that only one of them is available on Amazon.
Is that what Sean?
Yeah.
Or that's because this one is available right now. The other two are calendars, and I'm going to revise them. But I did that so that it would, so that people wouldn't order the calendar. I did that. Yeah. But this one kind of combines the greatest hits of them. And yeah, they are available at Barnes & Noble and Books A Million. And then also I put them in stores like Parksdale and in a corner store where you can buy them there as well. Okay. All right. Go for it. My favorite one to write, which nobody would ever probably guess, is the second Prescribed Life. I feel like I really enjoyed and I actually spent the least time on it, month-wise, but almost every day I was writing up to 14 hours a day in that book. So I really just put everything I had in it.
You would be if you wrote 14 hours.
I would wake up in the morning and write. I would wake up in the morning and write. I have brothers and sisters. I actually am part of a pretty big family. I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters. My favorite character for Prescribed Life, my favorite character is probably not really the main character. My main character is a girl, and it's funny because when people read the book, they think a girl wrote the book. I really try to make it from a girl's point of view. But my main character that I like is, I have a main character named Jack who my character Leah falls in love with, but he has a twin brother, and his twin brother is just kind of like the villain, and he's probably my favorite character in the book, just because he's a lot more, he just has a lot more going on. Yeah. Like anime, I mean, I pretty much just do like comic kind of style stuff. I've looked into doing, I know you're saying like doing more like Japanese kind of style anime as well. I did like growing up like Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, all that kind of stuff. It's definitely influential for my drawings. Yeah. Okay. What is it about? Captain Anything? I remember those. So those actually, I'm pretty sure came out whenever I went here, because they were a pretty big seller in the book
Just
there.
one more question, because we have lunch in a few minutes. We have to go back to
Okay. All right. Let's see. We'll go through it. Yeah, that's kind of like some of the shows I grew up watching, like Dragon Ball Z. You see how the bad guy, versus the good guy, and sometimes one is stronger than the other. But in the shows, they always train and get stronger and stronger. That's what keeps the story going. That's kind of how life is. Whenever you want to do something that you love, you keep training and you get stronger. And you may not always win every time, but if you train and get stronger, you can win the next time. And winning next time is way more important than winning last time. So have to look at it that way.
All right, let's all say thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure talking to all of you. I hope you enjoyed the presentation and check out Strawberry Short Stories. Try to catch me and I'll get